Going on, everybody? It's JetsCentral coming back with another video, and in this one I wanted to give you guys my personal pick for the most underrated team heading into this upcoming season, right? Or should I just say tomorrow, because tonight is the eve of the first NFL Sunday. I can't wait, you can't wait. 1 o'clock tomorrow cannot get here soon enough. It really can't. But in any case, I felt like it'd be pretty cool to kind of go out on a limb a little bit the eve, before the first NFL Sunday, and give you guys my most underrated team, a team that I feel like is being disrespected by most, the experts out there, the national sports media outlets. I think they're not critically analyzing this team. I think they're just strictly looking at names on paper, the current coaching staff in place, the division that they play in, the conference that they play in, and they're saying, look, you're not going to be great, you're not going to be good, you're not going to be horrible, but you're just going to be average. You don't have the star players. They're just looking at names on paper. And as we all know, hell, it's one of the reasons why the NFL is really popular. It's why I love it. It's why you love it. Is that there's a lot of parity. You can go from being bad to good to great to horrible in one season. Hell, look at the Saints. They were borderline average 2 years ago, made the playoffs, and were an amazing team this past year. So crazy stuff, crazier things have happened before. But this team, they're flying under the radar. Nobody's talking about them. And I think they're going to be low-key really competitive. Everyone's counting them out. Everyone's disrespecting them. Frankly, because I think they just, like I said before, they look at names on paper and they say, oh, you don't have Aaron Rodgers, you don't have Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, you don't have Julio Jones, Zeke Elliott. But here's the deal. The team that I think is the most underrated going into the season is the Washington Redskins. And I know I could get some pushback on that, and, for the same reasons. They don't have the star player, they don't have the amazing coach or anything crazy. They play in a tough conference, a tough division. And I get all that, I really do. But I think when you critically analyze this team, I sincerely believe that the Washington Redskins have a chance to get 10 wins and a push for a wild card spot. I look at last year, and I think they did some great things last year. Yes, they weren't 11-5, they weren't 12-4. I think they were 7-9. But I remember watching Redskins games last year, and I was really, really impressed. I thought they were underrated last year. Not to this extent, because I really loved some of the offseason acquisitions that this team made. But last year, I was really impressed. I thought the defense is really underrated. They have a whole bunch of good players, not amazing players, right? Not players like the Seattle Seahawks, in recent years, the Denver Broncos, or even like the not the San Diego Chargers, but the LA Chargers this upcoming season, right? They got the sexy defensive ends and stuff like that. They don't have all that stuff. They just have a bunch of solid players. And of course, Josh Norman, he's probably the headliner of that defense, along with Ryan Kerrigan, two great players. But everyone else is kind of, they're just good, solid players with high upsides. And I feel like all these, or really the Washington Redskins defensive coaching staff is getting the most out of these guys. And they're playing on, they're playing up to their potential, which I really, really like. And I admire that from a coaching staff. But I think this defense is kind of where it starts. You add a guy like Daron Payne, a first-round pick in last year's draft, or in this past draft, excuse me. Last year, you added Jonathan Allen. Okay, both guys, Daron Payne and Allen, both played at Alabama to anchor the interior of this defensive line to help stop the run. A big issue that's been really the Redskins' problem in recent years, stopping the run. Look at the division. You have Saquon Barkley, new addition. Okay, so you have to be able to stop him. Excuse me. Zeke Elliott. The Cowboys have a great offensive line. The Philadelphia Eagles have a great offensive line. How do you counter that? Building the defensive line. So you have Jonathan Allen, you have Daron Payne, you have Ryan Kerrigan coming off the edge. I think this Redskins defense, it's going to start at the front. I think this front seven will be pretty good this year. And then the secondary. I really like the direction that the secondary is going into. Josh Norman, he's actually my favorite favorite non-quarterback or non-Jet player in the league. I think he's definitely fun to watch. I like his trash talking stuff, and he backs it up, and he might not have the crazy interception numbers, but his pass deflection numbers are the number that kind of stands out to me. He does a very good job in zone. He can do man. I really like him because he could follow. He does a lot of good things. I really like Josh Norman. Now, switching gears over to the offensive side, right? The first thing that everybody wants to talk about and bring up is the quarterback position, right? And yeah, they don't have Cam Newton. They don't have Aaron Rodgers. They don't have Drew Brees. But they have a guy in Alex Smith, right? And before I kind of dive into Alex Smith and why I really like him and why I think he's a beautiful fit for the Redskins, they obviously made the transition from Kirk Cousins, another quarterback that I like think he's a great guy, to Alex Smith. They let Kirk go in free agency, and they traded for Alex. And I know what I'm about to say is kind of confusing, and if you guys do get confused, it's not your fault, it's mine, so just bear with me. But I feel like I need to make this point. I like Kirk Cousins, and I like Alex Smith. I think both quarterbacks are really good. Okay, really good. Just point blank period, both quarterbacks are really good. And you could be asking yourself, well, if Kirk Cousins was really good, why haven't the Redskins been consistently winning this division in the past few years? I think Alex Smith's positive traits, right? What makes Alex Smith a good quarterback? The Washington Redskins value those traits more than what makes Kirk Cousins a good quarterback. Okay, I know that's kind of a weird statement, but I think the Washington Redskins right now, as an organization, as a team, I think they value what Alex Smith brings to the table as far as positive skill set goes, right? The mobility, the leadership, the ability to not turn the ball over and to put the defense back out onto the field. I believe Alex Smith only had 5 interceptions last year, and I'm not saying he's going to come in and throw 4 interceptions this year or anything like that, but you could expect under 10 picks from Alex Smith. You could expect Alex Smith to put the ball in play a little bit more than Kirk Cousins did, last year for the Redskins, which in turn keeps the defense on the sideline, right? So they're going to be a little bit more rested, and I feel like the games are going to go by a little bit quicker, right? So the time of possession will go up for the Redskins. If you have a quarterback that can just be the point guard of the team, just distribute, get everybody involved to keep the clock going and your defense on the field, I think that's really beneficial. That might not necessarily show up in the stat sheet, right? Nobody really talks about that specific statistic. So I think that the positive traits that Alex Smith brings to this Redskins team are the Redskins value those traits more than what Kirk Cousins brought to the table. And I still feel like Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback. I just feel as though Cousins' strengths fit more Vikings, whereas Alex Smith's traits fit more Redskins. And like I said before, both great quarterbacks. I like them both. And I actually have Kirk Cousins and the Vikings win the Super Bowl this year. But I still think Alex Smith is a better fit for Washington. A good little analogy, a little confusing analogy to say the least, but think of it like this. If you're a 95-year-old woman, you would value a 2018 Toyota Camry more than you would a 2009 Boss 302 Mustang, whereas a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old kid would value the Mustang a lot more than the 2018 Camry. He's more attracted to the horsepower, right? That just the overall power of the car, how fast it goes. You know, the paint job, the engine, everything, the interior. The 18-year-old kid is more attracted to the Mustang. And even though the Mustang is a more expensive car, it's more powerful, it's faster, this and that, the 95-year-old woman would prefer the Camry because she's more attracted to the positive traits that the Camry brings to the table. Yeah, the Mustang is more expensive. Yeah, the Mustang is more powerful, but she wants maybe safety, maybe just reliability, just a car that's not going to have a lot of problems and really just a hassle to own. She values the Camry more than the Mustang, even though the Mustang is better, on paper. So that's kind of a way to look at it. I just feel as though the Washington Redskins value Alex Smith's or need Alex Smith's positive skill sets more than the positive skill sets that Kirk Cousins bring. So I know that was confusing as hell, and I hope it did make sense a little bit, but I appreciate you guys for bearing with me. So you take a look at this Redskins offense. I already talked about the quarterback position, putting the ball in play, not turning it over as much. Alex Smith's mobility, I think, will give the Redskins that dimension, that next dimension that teams are going to have to prepare for. Alex Smith is a very underrated athlete. Everyone looks at Alex Smith and they just peg him as a pocket passer year after year after year. But year after year after year, Alex Smith continues to show that he could keep it on the read option. He could pick up third downs, with his wheels, and he can make plays. Point blank period, without throwing the ball. Alex Smith can pick up first downs. He can pick up yardage just by running the ball. Underrated athlete, and it's funny because nobody labels Alex Smith as a dual threat quarterback, but he is. So I don't know. It is what it is. But the Washington Redskins offense. I think you add a guy like Paul Richardson to the mix who can take the top off the defense. I think Alex and Paul are going to have a great chemistry this season. And, you add a guy like Crowder in the slot, a reliable guy who also contributes on special teams. I think he's in store for a big season, kind of playing the role that like Tyreek Hill did in Kansas City for Alex. And then Jordan Reed. Everyone knows Alex Smith loves to throw to his tight ends. Vernon Davis back in San Francisco, and then Travis Kelce. Okay, and ironically enough, Vernon Davis is a Washington Redskins, so it's pretty cool to see Alex and Vernon kind of reunite a little bit. Now, I will say that I was really, really bummed out to see Darius Guice go down. I was actually in the movies. I think I was seeing, Mission Impossible it could have been, and I looked down at my phone midway through the movie, and I headline, Darius Guice out for the year, torn ACL. And I'm like, no! Everybody in the movie theater was like, what is this guy doing? Quiet down. And I was just shocked because I thought Darius Guice could have been a beast. And I think he will be a beast come next, the following season, 2019. But I was just so bummed out for him and for the Redskins out there because I thought this guy had a really good opportunity to win Offensive Player of the Year. So Adrian Peterson's going to have to step up. Right, the Washington Redskins running back core, or stable, they're going to have to step up, right? Chris Thompson, those guys. But I think Alex Smith, being the veteran, being I think Alex is more of a leader than Kirk Cousins was during his time with the Skins, and I think Alex is just going to be that veteran guy, that veteran presence in the locker room, kind of like just like that cool uncle, if you will. He's just the cool uncle that everybody could just hit up, talk to, and move forward. So I think Alex is going to get a lot of people involved here, and I think with Jay Gruden's offense. Jay Gruden's been there. He's been the Washington Redskins coach for a long time now, and I really, really like this offense that he kind of runs. It's like a variation of like a little bit like West Coast offense. I think it's a perfect skill set for Alex, and I'm really, really pumped up to see what the Redskins do this year. Also, last point I want to bring up, this offensive line. I know when Alex Smith has a clean pocket, this guy can, his completion percentage and his QBR, a stat that I absolutely hate. I cannot stand QBR because people overrate the hell out of it. But his QBR and his completion percentage, when he's protected, right, when he has a clean pocket, is through the roof. And the Washington Redskins offensive line, I believe, it will do a better job of providing Alex with a clean pocket as opposed to what Kansas City did. So I look at these, I've been looking at these stats that, and these aspects of this Washington Redskins team, really trying to critically analyze them to kind of put my best, I don't want to say, give you guys my honest opinion about them and why I do believe this team can get 10 wins. Now, they do have a pretty hard schedule. They play the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles twice. And the Dallas Cowboys obviously have some pieces, and the Giants are looking to bounce back off of their bad season last year. So they do have their challenges out, set in front of them. But based off last year, and with the additions that they brought in this offseason, I really like the Washington Redskins. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and let me know your underrated team, right? And don't be afraid of being wrong, because hell, I'm wrong. Everybody's wrong all the time. So this is just my thoughts. It's just a nice little prediction that I feel like I just really want to make the night before the NFL season really kicks off. So, let me know down below in the comment section. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and go Jets.